My team are really disappointed and saddened that the effort they've been making throughout the last 3 years has led, in fact, to today having to be necessary. We did hope that by giving good advice and support throughout the last 3 years, and particularly during the last year when our DV and other people have been out to see Mr and Mrs Sims over 30 times, that they would have taken the opportunities we've given them to move out the property and avoid what has happened today. We did hope that by giving good advice and support throughout the last 3 years, and particularly during the last year when our DV and other people have been out to see Mr and Mrs Sims over 30 times, that they would have taken the opportunities we've given them to move out the property and avoid what has happened today. We were careful to consider the sensitivities of the issue. We're mindful of the stress that people in these situations are put under, and we just wanted to make sure the plan was smooth running so that we could minimise the stress on this day. When the public inquiry was held, alternatives to that alignment that passed through Mr and Mrs Sims's house were considered at the inquiry, but there were objections to that by other people, and the inspector of course has to weigh this evidence, and his recommendation to Secretary of State was in fact that the line of the slip road that goes over the new bridge passed through Mr and Mrs Sims's house, and that therefore the compulsory purchase order was made, and that meant that unfortunately Mr and Mrs Sims would have to move out.
How quickly will the steps be taken to demolish the house then, and what's the timescale for that?
The house has to be checked to see whether there are materials in it that would cause harm, such as asbestos. We have to do surveys to make sure there are no birds or other fauna in and around the property that are protected, and when those surveys are done, then a process of demolition will take place. It's not an aggressive action to knock the house down as quickly as possible. It's going to be done carefully, but it does need to be done because it is the access route in to build the embankment that goes to the bridge. The dreadful business of eviction is that the property no longer is available for Mr and Mrs Sims to return to, and it will be, the chain locks will be changed, it will have boarding of windows, and it will be fenced to demark the house from the site in order to avoid a re-entry by Mr and Mrs Sims.